Shout out to Money Brown, man. Errol Spence Jr. My boy Money Brown, he get a lot of money, that's why I call him Money Brown.
What's good, Money Brown TV? What up, what up?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Money Brown TV. Thank you so much for everything.
Hey, this is Ryan Garcia here. Shout out to Money Brown TV. And keep punching, baby.
Yo, what's going on after the fight? Well, this your boy Money back with another one, man. And this one here is on the 4-division world champion Canelo, the 3-division world champion Terrance Crawford, and the unified welterweight world champion in Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Now, we all know, the news going around, Canelo, Terrance Crawford, and Errol Spence is the hottest thing on the market. Terrance Crawford came out and said Canelo, was avoiding black fighters, right? A lot of people think different. You know what I mean? A lot of people think different. A lot of people agree. But nonetheless, it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic. But this one is Canelo Alvarez choosing Errol Spence to defeat Terrance Crawford. You know what I mean? Canelo see what's going on in the media. He see what Terrance Crawford say. He know Terrance Crawford is a hot commodity, right? He know Errol Spence is a hot commodity. He know himself is a hot commodity. He knows, the type of leverage he hold in this sport of boxing. And he understand the business of boxing. That's one thing Canelo do understand. He understand the business of boxing. That's why he left Golden Boy Promotion, and that's why he is in the deal that he's in now. But understand what Canelo said, that he will pick this man, Errol Spence, right here, to fight at 160 pounds. He said the only guy will come back down to 160 pounds for is Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Not right now, but in the future. In the future, right? Errol Spence came out and defended Canelo Alvarez on Twitter. You know what I mean? Saying Canelo, if he become, the undisputed champion at 168 pounds, he would be an all-time great. He will be an all-time great if he become undisputed. Canelo already conquered 4 divisions, right? And that's just making more history, man. They're going to the Hall of Fame. They're going to the Hall of Fame. But this guy right here, Canelo said he will take the fight at 160 pounds. This is the only guy. This is the only guy. Because Canelo understands that Errol Spence does great business. Errol Spence is one hell of a fighter. And Errol Spence don't back down from nobody. You feel me? He know Errol Spence is the #1 welterweight in the world over this man right here, Terrance Crawford, who is a hell of a fighter, who is a 3-division world champion, right? Who is the current WBO welterweight world champion, right? Like I said, Bud Crawford came out and spoke his mind. He was asked the question, what do you think about Canelo pound for pound and things of that nature? He spoke his mind. You know what I mean? That's all you can ask the man to do is to keep it real. Don't fake it in front of the camera if you don't feel that way. Speak how you really feel. And Bud Crawford spoke how he really feel. And then he came out on Twitter and said, I said a lot of y'all hurt, but guess what? He don't give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? But Bud Crawford is at 147 pounds as well. And Canelo Alvarez know that the big fight at 147 is Bud and Errol Spence. Bud and Errol Spence. You know what I mean? His trainer, Eddie Reynoso, came out and said he think Bud has more skills. He never picked the winner, but he said he picked Bud over Errol for a skill set, right? But I think Canelo got Errol Spence over Terrance Crawford. Canelo has Errol Spence over Terrance Crawford. And my reason is why? Because he picked him to fight him at 160 pounds. You understand what I'm saying? He will come down to 160 only for Errol Spence. He understands the skill set of Errol Spence. He understands for Errol Spence to make it to 160, he got to get past Terrance Crawford. You feel me? And Canelo understands that when someone's come out and make a remark about you, right? Someone comes out and make a remark about you and say the things he said, he's going to feel some type of way. Canelo is going to feel some type of way. When Bud Crawford say those things, Canelo shoot back like, okay, man, holla at me when you get to my level. Holla at me when you get to my level. You know what I'm saying? Until then, you fight Errol Spence Jr. You fight Sean Porter. You fight Keith Thurman. You did? But you can't beat Errol Spence Jr. I'm saying this with Canelo thinking, everybody. This Canelo speaking, not Money Brown. It's Canelo. But you can't beat Errol Spence Jr. You feel me? That's why you saying you don't want the fight now. And the Bud fans, the fanatics, going to be pissed off at this. But, when Canelo shoot backs, he shoot backs. But nonetheless, Canelo understands that Errol Spence is the biggest star in the game. He understands that he will make great money with Errol Spence Jr. Now, listen, you got Jamal Charlo at 160. You have Demetrius Andrade at 160. You still have Triple G, who he fought twice at 160 pounds, right? Jaime Munguia at 160, right? Why would Canelo only pick Errol Spence Jr. to fight at 160 pounds? Somebody answer that question for me, please. Somebody answer that question. What do you think? Errol Spence is going to win? You think Canelo is going to win? Why would Canelo come out his own mouth and say the only fighter he will come to 160 for is Errol Spence Jr.? Because you see the numbers Errol Spence do at Texas Stadium. Sorry, AT&T Stadium, where he's about to fight at, right? Where he's about to fight Billy Joe Saunders that sold 20,000 tickets already. You know, salute to Canelo, salute to Billy Joe. The fight gonna be on fire May 8th, Cinco de Mayo weekend. You feel me? But why would he say he's only coming to 160 to fight Errol Spence Jr.? Because he understand Errol is the hottest in the game, man. He understand Errol is the hottest in the game. He understand that Errol is above Terrance Crawford. That's what people not saying, bro. They gonna hate on this. There's no hate to Bud. Like I said, I fuck with Bud heavy. I fuck with all three of these dudes. Three of my favorite fighters. Errol Spence Jr., Terrance Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Three of my favorite fighters, bro. Three. I ride for Canelo. Took shots for Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Still got Errol Spence beating Canelo. Yeah, you dig? Don't get it twisted at all. At all. Errol Spence is defeating Canelo Alvarez, homie. Yes, sir. But I still fuck with Canelo. And the fans ain't gonna like this. The Bud fans, the Canelo fans ain't gonna like it. Right? I'm gonna say fanatics. You know what I mean? Y'all went crazy on the last post. I want y'all to go crazy on this one as well. Errol Spence will defeat Canelo. But the thing is, Canelo understands business. He understands skill set. He understands a bigger fighter. Right? And Canelo will take Errol Spence to defeat Terrance Crawford. And when Errol Spence do defeat Terrance Crawford, he go to 154, grab 2 scraps, then he go to 160. And when he make it to 160, Canelo should have done everything he needed to do at 168, and he come down to 160 to face Errol Spence for, guess what? The fighter of their decade. Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez will be the last two standing for us, the big top dogs, right? And it's going to have to come down to those two. Just ask Richard Schaefer. If you don't believe me, just ask Richard Schaefer, bro. Ask Richard Schaefer. Richard Schaefer already told us we had left the Mayweather era and we have now entered the Errol Spence era. There's big fights out there for Errol Spence. Let's go make them all. Let's go make them all. And that's all Errol Spence been doing, was making big fights ever since. Canelo been in big fights ever since Floyd Money Mayweather, right? So these are the two top dogs for us, the business, to me. You know what I mean? And I think they will meet up. I think they will meet up. But Canelo Alvarez understand that Errol Spence has a skill set that a lot of people, you know, they don't pay attention to. They don't pay attention to it. They just think Errol Spence is a come forward, just a maul you down type of fighter, and he's not, bro. He's not. Errol Spence is as skillful as they come. Everything he do is thought of. It's not just reacting. You know, it's a method to his madness. It's a method to his madness. And you'll have to study him to find that out. I repeat, you will have to study him to find that out. And those are all facts. All facts. So listen, y'all can continue to try to hate. But the truth is, Canelo Alvarez and his coach think different. You feel me? Canelo think Errol Spence is the #1 welterweight, and it's true. Canelo think Errol Spence is the better fighter than Terrance Crawford, and it's true. And Canelo think Errol Spence will defeat Terrance Crawford, and it's true. You understand what I'm saying? It is true. That's why their showdown will be the biggest showdown in boxing when they meet up, and it will be the fight of the decade that I have Errol Spence winning in a tough fight. Don't get it wrong. It's going to be a scary fight for Errol Spence. Canelo versus Errol Spence is a tough fight, bro. Errol's going to have to look out for them counter shots, right? Canelo got good speed. Canelo got good head moving at the top. Errol's going to have to make sure he work his body, but work his body and be careful. Be careful. You feel me? What Canelo got to look out for is Errol Spence's jab. His jab is just, you know, magnificent once he get it going, because he'll single it up, he'll double it up, he'll triple it up, right? Canelo got to look out for that body work, and he got to try to stay on his toes and not let Errol Spence force him to work. Because if Errol Spence forced Canelo to work like Triple G did, and Canelo gets out at the end, oh yeah, Errol Spence gonna come on strong, homie. He's gonna come on strong. But if Errol try to do too much, you know, and get a little restless and slip up and let Canelo get one of them counter shots in, it's gonna be a long night for my dog. You feel me? It's gonna be a long night for my dog. Because Canelo know how to make adjustments as well. That's one thing I got to give him credit for. He know how to make adjustments. You feel me? Look at all his fights. When some things ain't going his way, he adjusts. Laura kept moving ahead. He missing. Went to the body. Triple G kept trying to put the pressure on. Canelo started holding his ground on his ass. Started going to the body. Started counter shot. Making them miss. Making them pay. You feel me? Making them miss. Making them pay. The real game of boxing. Hit and not get hit. You feel me? But I think Errol and Canelo and even Bud Crawford, they all hell of a fighters, man. They all would be Hall of Famers, right? Errol Spence will conquer more than the welterweight division, so they all would be, champions in multiple divisions. But the facts are the facts, man. The facts are the facts. Errol Spence is the top dog at 147. Errol Spence is connected to Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and Jamel Cholo at 154, right? So that's 47, 54, and 60, and 68. Because Canelo is at 68 right now, so he's carrying Canelo's name as well at 68. So how come Errol Spence is not the hottest in the game, everybody? Show some love, man. Show respect, family. Show respect. You feel me? But like I say, these three guys are great fighters. I'll watch all three. I'm going to buy all their pay-per-views if they go on pay-per-view. Nobody's going to change my mind on these fighters, so don't try. You're not going to change my mind on these fighters. I respect the game. I know what the game is. Y'all can try to use race and all that shit, right? But I respect Canelo and his skill set and what he's accomplished. I respect Terrance Bud Crawford, his skill set, what he's accomplished. I respect Errol Spence Jr., his skill set and what he's accomplished. And they are carrying the sport right now. But once again, everybody, Canelo Alvarez has Errol Spence Jr. defeating Terrance Bud Crawford for them to meet up at 160 pounds for the fight of the decade. Now tell me I'm wrong. Until then, this your boy Money. This the ANSBC moving. Ain't nobody safe in these streets. Hit them thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to donate. OG Money on Cash App. TreyHampton52@gmail.com on PayPal. If not, just tell a friend. Hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, share the video. Y'all know how your boy get down. Big dog status.